Welcome to the history of North Vietnam, a land forged by time.
The Red River Delta, a tapestry woven from emerald rice paddies and sapphire waterways. This is the heart of North Vietnam, a land where time whispers through ancient temples and roars in the echoes of battles won and lost. For millennia, this fertile cradle has nurtured a civilization as enduring as the mountains that embrace it. Our journey begins long before recorded history, in a land where myth and reality intertwine. Archaeological whispers tell of sophisticated Bronze Age cultures, their artistry hinting at complex rituals and social structures. These early inhabitants, ancestors to the Vietnamese people, laid the foundation for a civilization that would weather countless storms. Chinese chronicles recorded the emergence of powerful Vietnamese kingdoms. Names like Van Lang and Olac echo through the ages, conjuring images of warrior kings and courtly intrigue. This identity, forged in the crucible of both cooperation and conflict, would define North Vietnam's destiny. The ancient echoes reverberate most clearly in the whispers of Chinese domination. For over 1,000 years, beginning in the 2nd century BC, the Vietnamese people endured the yoke of Chinese rule. Dynasties rose and fell, yet the yearning for freedom remained a constant undercurrent. This period, though marked by foreign influence, saw the Vietnamese language and culture not just survive, but flourish. Resistance, both subtle and overt, simmered beneath the surface. Folk heroes like the Trung sisters, their legendary rebellion etched in the national memory, embodied the spirit of defiance. These women warriors leading armies against the might of the Han dynasty remain powerful symbols of Vietnamese resistance. Buddhism, introduced during this period, took root and flourished, blending with indigenous beliefs to create a unique spiritual landscape. By the 10th century AD, the embers of independence, long smoldering, burst into flame. Ngo Quyen shattered the chains of Chinese rule at the Battle of Bac Dang River, heralding a new era for Vietnam. With newfound independence, a new era dawned for North Vietnam. The Lai dynasty, founded in 1009 AD, ushered in a golden age of peace and prosperity. The capital, moved to Thang Long, present-day Hanoi, became a bustling center of commerce and culture. Buddhism flourished, inspiring magnificent temples and pagodas that still grace the landscape today. Under the Lai and subsequent Tran dynasties, North Vietnam experienced a flowering of art, literature, and learning. The establishment of the Temple of Literature solidified Hanoi's reputation as a center of intellectual pursuit. Yet, even in this golden age, the Vietnamese people faced constant challenges. Invasions from the north, particularly from the Mongols, tested their mettle. These victories, often won against overwhelming odds, cemented North Vietnam's reputation as a land of fierce warriors. The 15th century saw the rise of the Le dynasty, a period marked by both internal strife and external expansion. The Vietnamese, under the leadership of talented generals like Le Loi, pushed southward, conquering the Champa kingdom and expanding their territory. However, internal divisions within the ruling elite weakened the Le dynasty, leading to a period of fragmentation and civil war. The Trinh lords in the north and the Nguyen lords in the south engaged in a protracted power struggle, dividing the country. Despite the turmoil, Vietnamese culture continued to thrive. The arts flourished, with distinct regional styles emerging in painting, sculpture, and music. The development of Chu Nam further solidified the Vietnamese language and fostered a sense of national identity. This split would eventually evolve into a defining characteristic of Vietnamese history, setting the stage for future conflicts. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell for future notifications. The 19th century brought with it the encroaching shadow of European colonialism. France, eager to expand its empire, set its sights on Vietnam. Exploiting the country's internal divisions, the French gradually asserted their control, culminating in the establishment of French Indochina in 1887. This marked the beginning of a long and brutal period of colonial rule that would have a profound impact on Vietnamese society. The French, eager to exploit Vietnam's resources, implemented policies designed to extract maximum profit. Rice production was intensified, often at the expense of food security for the Vietnamese peasantry. Vast rubber plantations were established, displacing local farmers and disrupting traditional agricultural practices. Vietnamese resistance to French rule was immediate and persistent. Early uprisings, often led by local mandarins or disaffected peasants, were brutally suppressed. However, these early acts of defiance planted the seeds for a more organized resistance movement that would emerge in the 20th century. The 20th century dawned with Vietnam firmly under French colonial rule, but the seeds of nationalism were beginning to sprout. The First World War had a profound impact on Vietnamese consciousness. Vietnamese soldiers, conscripted to fight for France, witnessed firsthand the vulnerability of European powers and the growing strength of nationalist movements. Among those deeply affected by the war was a young man named Nguyen Sin Cung, later known as Ho Chi Minh. Traveling widely, he embraced communist ideology, seeing in it a path to liberation for his people. Returning to Vietnam in the 1930s, Ho Chi Minh organized the Viet Minh, a communist-led independence movement. World War II provided a golden opportunity for the Viet Minh. With France occupied by Nazi Germany, the Viet Minh launched a guerrilla war against the weakened French forces. The defeat of Japan in 1945 created a power vacuum, and on September 2, 1945, Ho Chi Minh declared Vietnam's independence. The 1954 Geneva Accords, which brought an end to the First Indochina War, divided Vietnam along the 17th parallel. This division, intended as a temporary measure pending nationwide elections, proved to be a fateful decision. North Vietnam, under the leadership of Ho Chi Minh and the Communist Party, embarked on a path of socialist transformation. In the north, land reform policies were implemented, redistributing land from wealthy landowners to peasant farmers. Industry and agriculture were collectivized and a one-party state was established. The South, meanwhile, struggled to establish a stable government and faced growing opposition from communist insurgents known as the Viet Cong. Backed by the North, the Viet Cong launched a guerrilla war against the South Vietnamese government. The United States, fearing the domino effect of communist expansion in Southeast Asia, gradually escalated its involvement. The Vietnam War would become one of the most defining conflicts of the 20th century. The Vietnam War left an indelible mark on North Vietnam. Years of relentless bombing by American forces devastated the country's infrastructure. Millions of Vietnamese, both soldiers and civilians, lost their lives in the conflict. Yet despite the immense sacrifices made, the North Vietnamese people emerged from the war victorious. The fall of Saigon in 1975 brought about the reunification of Vietnam under communist rule. The integration of the North and South proved to be a complex and often painful process. The legacy of war continued to cast a long shadow over the country. However, amidst the challenges, there was also a sense of hope and renewal. Today, North Vietnam bears the indelible marks of its tumultuous past. Ancient temples stand as silent witnesses to the rise and fall of empires, while the scars of war serve as a reminder of the human cost of conflict. Yet, amidst the remnants of past struggles, there is a palpable sense of dynamism and hope. North Vietnam, once a battleground, is now a land striving for progress and its rightful place on the world stage. The legacy of figures like Ho Chi Minh and General Vo Nguyen Giap continues to inspire a new generation of Vietnamese. The spirit of self-reliance is evident in the country's remarkable economic growth and development. The rice paddies of the Red River Delta now teem with life, providing sustenance for a growing population. Cities like Hanoi and Haiphong are now bustling centers of commerce and culture. The Vietnamese people are embracing the opportunities of a globalized world, transforming their nation into an economic powerhouse. The story of North Vietnam is an epic tale of survival, resistance, and ultimately, triumph. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell for future notifications.